Welcome to RCAM. I'm your host, Ryan, and thank you for tuning in today. I hope you guys are having a very blessed day. And we got quite a bit to talk about today. So, today we're going to be talking about the death of beauty being ushered in by modernity. So we'll be talking about that. So we'll be covering the this picture going around of Miley Cyrus that's not exactly flattering, and we'll also be talking about Cracker Barrel changing their logo and the kick streamer who died after being abused for 10 days. So, and we'll talk about kind of the cultural ramifications of this and what I think what I think is ultimately like happening to the human soul. So, and then some other random clips we kind of got on the docket for today, some that I didn't get to go over last Tuesday. So we got a lot to talk about today. So I hope you guys are having a very blessed day. If you like this content, let me know. Go ahead and like and share and comment. And if you're on Rumble, repost because that helps me grow and I appreciate it. Okay, so let's get into this. All right. Oh, one more thing, just some housekeeping stuff. So, tomorrow I am going to be on with Midnight in the Mountains. We are going to be discussing um his journey to faith. So, I'm pretty excited about that. So, I'll get some promo material for that and we will address that tomorrow. So I'm really looking to forward to that conversation. Midnight is a great guy. I've definitely enjoyed doing content with him, and I'll be a regular on his show every other Sunday. I think any Sunday that he's not doing Midnight in the Mountains is when I will be on his show. So we will have me making a regular appearance there. So it's cool. We're pretty aligned on most things. So I'm excited. And he was on a great show. I mean, he's actually one of the most genuine people I've interacted with in this space. So I really appreciate that. Yesterday, I did a show with Pudge on Pudge TV. I shared a little bit about my testimony if you want to check that out. And yeah, I like what we have going on here. We're building something beautiful, and I am all about that. And I appreciate those of you who are along for the ride. It's been awesome. It's just been awesome. You know, my expectations continually are, surpassed. And every time I think I'm not going to be able to make it in this creator program, you guys just show up and help me get there. And obviously, all glory to God because none of this would be possible without Him. So I am just extremely grateful. So that will bring us to our first story right here. Okay. So this picture was a picture shared by Miley's debut with her first fragrance Gucci, and this is the picture that they chose to share. And I gotta say, it's really not a flattering photo. It really isn't, man. And this is what I'm kind of talking about with the uglification of America. Like her bangs are all messy. It's just really just her hair. Her face isn't terrible. Um, but if you look at like an old photo of Miley, I mean, this is when she's younger, so I'm not gonna, hold her to that. But this seems not that long ago, and her hair is, it's really the hair, and I don't know why who signed off on this and said that this is a good idea, because it almost looks like the sides of her head are shaved, and I don't know if that's the case or she just pushed her back, but it's awful. Ladies, don't do this. Don't do this. This does not look. I don't know if somebody is telling you this looks attractive, especially if they're a woman, they're lying because I know no man's going to say this is attractive. I know that's not happening. So if they're a woman, they are lying. So I do think this look that Miley has on right now is just, it's not the most flattering look. It just isn't. And there is this trend that I have noticed about the uglification of America. I'm not saying Miley Cyrus is ugly, okay? I'm not saying that. All right, she's an attractive woman, but this photo is definitely not her best photo, and it has this weird botched haircut, which I've seen women do. I've seen this hairstyle in the wild, and it looks just as bad. Um, and I think she has her hair pulled back too, but I can't tell, man. I can't tell, but much better look here. This is good. This is when she is arguably looking her best. Um, and this not so much. And what happened to her cheeks, man? Well, maybe her cheeks are always like that. Yeah, I guess they always are like that. But they look more sunken in here. Anyway, I lead with that because I wanted to talk about just this overall trend of um modernity kind of robbing things of their soul, and robbing things of their life, and including Miley Cyrus and other celebrities. But it's not just like with people that this happens; it's also with logos and art. We have seen over and over and over again art pieces that are bland and boring and dull being celebrated and heralded. I've seen some crazy stupid art, honestly. um what was the art? I'm trying to think of some of these pieces. It was just a guy knocking over paint cans, like that was supposed to be art. He just knocked them over. That's art, you know and then just some other really just bland paintings, and then you compare that with older art, and it has no character at all. That's why I like this painting so much, because that painting, that's not modern art. I mean, not as modern, and it's beautiful, man. It's just uh, detailed, it has depth, it tells a story, it's powerful. And that's not the case with a lot of modern art, and or modern logos for that matter, because recently Cracker Barrel unveiled their newest logo, and it is a shell of what it used to be. So this is the new Cracker Barrel logo. So they are ditching the dude. Sorry, buddy. They're ditching the chair. They're ditching, I guess maybe this is supposed to be a cracker. They're ditching the cracker. They're ditching that it says Old Country Store, because nothing can be old. Old is bad. Tradition is bad. And they're replacing it with this abomination. Now, it's still a barrel shaped kind of, yeah, but it has none of the charm. Absolutely none of the charm. It is soulless. It is bland. It is boring. It is modern. And that's the crux of the problem. Now, I don't think it just being modern alone is a disqualifier for something to be beautiful. I think there are some things that exist in modern times that are beautiful. There are some video games that exist in modern time that are out of this world beautiful. I just played Expedition 33, one of the most beautiful games I've played in a really long time. Somebody that cares about art, somebody that cares about beauty, the team behind that game cared about these things. But this is not that, and there's certain games that feel like I'm playing a casino. They're lifeless, they're dull, they're boring, they're monotonous, they're mundane. They have no character or charm about them. You can almost feel the parasitical nature of them. And that is how it is with some modern art and modern graphic design. So let's play this video of this CEO talking about the changes happening at Cracker Barrel.
Honestly, the feedback's been overwhelmingly positive that people like what we're doing. I'll give you another soundbite. I actually happened to be in Orlando last week with all of our managers. We bring them together and once every other year. And the number one question that I got asked, Michael, was how can I get a remodel? When can I get a remodel? How do I get on the list?
Oh, really?
So because the feedback and the buzz is so good, not only from our customers, but from our team members. They want to work in a wonderful restaurant. So we're doing everything for our guests and our team members.
Well, Julie Messino, it's wonderful to have you here.
Pleasure to
and
be
thank
here.
You
thank you
for
again.
answering those questions for all the Cracker Barrel fans out there. There's a lot of great changes.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Robin?
Can I get in writing that the peg game is going to stay?
The peg game is staying.
Okay.
So are the rocking chairs,
And the
fireplace, vintage decor. It's all doing.
Okay, the vintage. Oops.
There.
All right. Okay, because that would be a deal breaker. That would be
Yeah, that would. But we do have footage of the change. Hold on, let me pull this up, just so that you guys can see what these remodels actually look like, and they are horrible. No charm. You know what Cracker Barrel reminds me of? Why I think I personally find it appealing. It reminds me of like going to my mom's house, kind of. Like there's a whole bunch of knickknacks. It's really full, and there's kind of this peaceful vibe to it. But this is not that. It's just kind of like smatterings of different kitchen utensils on the wall. It doesn't have that country feel. It has modern vibes, and it doesn't feel like a country store anymore. Yeah, even the lights. Yeah, it just feels soulless, man. I'm gonna have to go to my local Cracker Barrel and just see if they've done this yet, and just give my 2 cents and tell them, please, God, don't do this. Don't 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 remodel it this way. I'm not opposed to freshening it up and making, doing new paint jobs and, replacing old fixtures and stuff like that with, something new, but it has to match the aesthetic that Cracker Barrel has had, because you want it to feel homey. This makes me almost feel like like I have to rush out. Uh I'm not a fan. I saw this meme. It said progress. Look at the detail in the railings compared to here. Look at the detail of the doors compared to here. Look at the detail of these buildings compared to what we have now. You want to know something too? I went to the Capitol building in Austin, and I was blown away with the level of detail in that building, that it really made me realize how far we have deviated from beauty and caring about the aesthetics of our building. And we've traded beauty for utility. And in the process, we have lost the charm and uniqueness of a lot of these homes, and a lot of these buildings and a lot of these structures. But when you go to an older building, and you walk around, you'll notice a level of detail that is just lost today. Just completely lost. Everything was handcrafted in that building, man. I mean, even their little their wall outlets had decor. Their wall outlets had decor. All their beams had engravings in them, like custom engravings. They're down to the finest detail. They had it covered in the Austin Capitol building, and everything looked well made, like sturdy and not cheaply put together. But in modern times, that's how everything, even this house that I'm in now, it's a beautiful house, don't get me wrong, I'm grateful. But when you're talking about the quality of the builds compared to older houses, I went to my friend's house the last time I was in New York, and I was walking through um uh their house, and I could, it just felt sturdy. Like I felt like I could jump on the third floor and nobody would hear me. I feel like if I jump really hard on my third floor, that I could fall through it. It feels more delicate. And the quality of our homes has gone down. And I just think, and then we have all these cookie cutter homes that are exactly the same, same model, and maybe slight variations, but they're all roughly the same. They have similar layouts. You're going to walk into them. They're going to be gray. The walls are going to be gray. The floors are going to be like gray or taupe, like the same colors, and they lose a lot of their life. You're seeing the same place, same thing in like places like McDonald's. Let me see if I can find, because I did cover this before. McDonald's doing their renovations, and it just it loses all the charm. Mm, No, I can't find it. Let me see. Let's see here. Yeah, okay. Here we go. No, this is McDonald's. I don't know what that is. Hold on. Ah, here we go. This is perfect. Yeah, so look, this is McDonald's in 2009. Look at that, man. Character, fun, inviting, appealing to kids. That's another thing about modernity. You can't make anything for kids. It has to cater to adults and adults only. You can't bring any joy or splash any life into your place. It all has to be gray and lifeless. And then you have this. Like just completely boring and lame. I've noticed this even with video game consoles. They don't even like we when Nintendo released, with the exception of Nintendo, because they do have colorful controllers. But like I remember having those translucent colored controllers and game systems. Like we had the green translucent Nintendo 64. That thing was cool. And they had like these translucent handhelds. They were cool, but everything is just lifeless. Even the cars, man. Look at this one. Cars had more character. All of them look the same now. I look at modern cars, and they just all look very, very similar to me. And it's just, I don't know, man. I don't like it. I don't like it. So this is a statement. Oh, I'll go back. I'll go back to that. Did you know the CEO of Cracker Barrel, Julie Fels Messino, announced her plans last year to rebrand the company because she said it's not relevant anymore. She also believes people in the middle class neighborhood should have higher menu prices than people in low income neighborhoods. So like equity crap. Her plans included changing the logo, changing the restaurant, and changing the menu. She also wants to clear the clutter from the walls. She also wants to bring the front porch to Pride. Yeah, and I did actually cover this last year at some point, uh, that they were pandering to the LGBTQ by having a Pride rocking chair, and I do have an image of that. Let's see, where is it? Robbie Starbucks shared it. Where is it? No, maybe I don't have it. Oh, hold on a second. Ah, here it is. Yeah, I remember cover, and we'll talk about this in a little bit because Robbie Starbuck is somebody that's uh, definitely blowing the whistle on a lot of these companies that have continued to uh, stay woke, and I'm very grateful for his work. If you don't follow Robbie Starbuck, you need to. You actually do need to. He's a really solid follow on Twitter. He actually does really good investigative work. I would say better than most conservatives, and he's actually making a difference in the culture by exposing these people and getting companies to change their policies. He was behind Tractor Supply changing their policy. He was behind, I think, Harley changing their policy. Every company that he scalps essentially ends up changing their policy. So we'll come back to this in a second, but yeah, everything is just lifeless. So she wants to make these changes and bring pride to Cracker Barrel. And like the demographic of Cracker Barrel, by the way, it's just like it's boomers basically, like mostly boomers like going to Cracker Barrel. And I don't think most of them are on board with this woke nonsense. I'll be real with you. I don't think they care. I think they like the way that it is. I know I do. I know I like going into Cracker Barrel and just feeling, at home. Like I said earlier, like I'm at my mom's house. That's the vibes I get from it. Just different knickknacks, and it's a cool place to be. It's also too just a pro tip if you're a parent. Cracker Barrel is like a great place to buy gifts. They have a little bit of everything. It's all kind of grumpage together and a small section where you can find what you're looking for. You want Pokemon toys for your kids? Cracker Barrel has it. You want cowboy hats for your kids? Cracker Barrel has it. You want snow globes for your grandma? Cracker Barrel has it. They have everything, man. So it's a really good place to buy gifts. And no, I'm not paid by Cracker Barrel. I just legitimately think they have good stuff. uh, I thought this was funny. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much it in a nutshell. Just full of life, vibrant, nice, dull, soulless, and lifeless. That is the meme. That is what it represents. Soulless and lifeless. And I am frankly tired of it. I'm tired of it. So yeah, we have that. There's a couple more I want to show. I saw this one. Hold on, I made a small edit. I like mine better. I like mine better. Let's see. No, I want to sign up for that. What? Oh, man, never mind. I don't want to have to log in. I'm not logging in. Never mind. I changed my mind. But it is funny. Yeah. And yeah, modernity strips these things of their charm. We lost Aunt Jemima. They removed her. I think they restored her. We lost Uncle Ben. We lost Land O'Lakes. They replaced her with, they just took the Indian out. It's like, it's almost like the, you would think that the people that are in favor of diversity, equity, and inclusion wouldn't remove these things. Now, I do know why they got rid of this guy. It's because he's like an old white man. And the worst thing you could do is be an old white man, And we also constantly, I've heard several times, like leftists making fun of, you know, white people for eating at Cracker Barrel. Like they use that as an insult frequently. So I find it ironic that or I don't find I find myself unsurprised that, hold on one second. Give me 1 second. I got to give my daughter a ride upstairs. All right, I'm back. So, yeah, where was I? Ranting about woke stuff. That's where I was. Okay, so back to Aunt Jemima. Yeah, and yeah, so they removed all these things. They removed this guy because he's white, and it's just frustrating to me because it's like I do feel like it's deliberate because they don't like the idea of white people enjoying something, and this is primarily something that white people enjoy. So I don't know. Let's read this from Robbie Starbuck. This image from a Cracker Barrel employee says that the company sponsored the far left LGBTQ plus HRC dinner for 10 years. The HRC worked extremely hard to elect Kamala and constantly attacks Republicans. The HRC also supports sex change for kids and men in women's bathrooms and lockers. Why has Cracker Barrel been funding HRC who seem to work against the values of the majority of Cracker Barrel customers? Yeah, that is right. Because most of these people are not down with that. This is activism, and they're very clearly pushing an agenda. There's so much more I'll record on a video tomorrow. What we received is a wild set of facts that customers deserve to know. I'm bringing receipts. And I promise you, Robbie Starbuck is bringing receipts. He will bring the receipts, tons of them. And hopefully, the trend that I've noticed is that these companies backpedal and they change their policies because they know what time it is. They understand that we are not down with any of this nonsense anymore. We're not down with it, man. We're sick of it. We're sick and tired of the woke bullcrap. We are. We're done with it. We want nothing to do with it anymore. All right. So I also want to continue talking about kind of some of these changes, and I want to talk about a change that happened in a game that I play called World of Warcraft, and you will there has been a concerted effort in video games to basically uglify their female characters, or at least make them look more masculine. And we're gonna play the trailer, and then we're gonna talk about some of the changes to the elves in this game. Um, and we'll talk about whether it's actually happening. Because my buddy, who's also streaming, I think he's streaming right now, actually, Resident of Kanto, he thinks he thinks that this is not a big deal, and that people are overthinking it in this situation. He does acknowledge that it is happening, but not in this scenario. So we'll talk about that afterwards. So here's the trailer.
The light guides my steps and illuminates my path. The light flows through me, and by its grace am I made one with all that is sacred. The light guides my steps and illuminates my path. The light flows through me, and by its grace am I made one with all that is sacred. The light
Liadrin, it has begun. I need you with me on the wall.
Gorthamar, the void will envelop us soon. Only the light can save us now.
No. The time for prayer has passed.
The sunwell will not fall. Not while I draw breath. Little elves. I can see you grow weary. How much longer can you hold out? Flee and save yourselves.
Liadrin, don't.
Light be with you. You see? She understands it's hopeless. Soon, you all will. The light guides my steps and illuminates my path. The light flows through me, and by its grace am I made one with all that is sacred. The light guides my steps and illuminates my path. The light flows through... I know that I am unworthy. I don't know if I deserve your help, but I know my people do. Please give them strength. I admire your spirit, but that will not save you. Soon, I will break your world.
You can't even break one elf.
This darkness comes to devour everything. And when it is finished, there will be no more light. Without your aid, we will perish. I beg you, help us.
This trailer's sick, man. This is sick.
The Sunwell will not fall!
Not while we draw breath.
Pretty sick. And this is low key an ad for Midnight being on my show tomorrow. So, um, yeah, trailer looks sick, but that brings us to what everybody has been talking about. So, they have been talking about the change to the elves. Now, this would be most closely resembling what they originally looked like in the game. And this is the character model that they decide to use. And as you can see, she has kind of a more pronounced jawline here. And some people are arguing if this is the continuation of the uglification of female characters in video games. And I would say that I kind of see their point. I'll be honest with you. Maybe it's because I've seen this happen before that I don't give Blizzards the benefit of the doubt, and I know that they're overrun with woke libs. Like I know that. So maybe that's why I have trouble thinking that this is a sincere character design, and this is they were basing this off a real woman. But there's a case for the counter argument. Me and my buddy argued about this earlier today. Um, but let's look at what he presented me. So he says that when he saw this person, he thought of Lily Evangeline. So for those of you who don't know, she was in The Hobbit. She played one of the elves, and they definitely do look similar. I will say I don't think Lily has the same type of jawline, but you could definitely see how they may have drawn inspiration from her for sure. But I do think her jawline is too pronounced for an elf, at least in this lore. If you're basing it off previous character designs, it it doesn't fit the bill. I think, for what is it? They have a class called, what the heck are they? Cultiran. If this were like a Cultiran chick, I wouldn't say anything about it. It'd be fine. But for the elves, I don't know. And this is context in the first game, the first trailer they released. That was the elf model, blood elf, same type of elf. And these are more photos of Lily Evangeline. You can kind of see her jawline is more pronounced here. And I think this photo probably looks the closest to it. But I don't know. What do you guys think? I tend to lean on the side that they were intentionally making the character look more masculine. Now, this isn't a slight or dig at Lily Evangeline, um, but it is sad that we live in a culture where I have to think that they're doing this. Like, I don't wanna have to think that, and probably maybe I wouldn't have thought that they were doing it before if I hadn't already seen them do it in the past. They did this with Lara Croft Tomb Raider. They made her look more masculine. They did it with the chick from Horizon Zero Dawn. So why wouldn't they do it here? Why wouldn't they do it in this situation? So I'm really not optimistic about that, and just this overall trend of, uh the uglification of things. I don't like it. I think has seeped into pretty much every artistic expression in modernity, including a lot of the film and television that we watch. I even, there's shows that I watch with my daughter. Little Bear is one of them, and it's just so full of life and full of character. You look at the animation and the illustrations, and it's just beautiful. It's very well detailed, very well done. And then you have shows like Paw Patrol, all right, where it's just dull, man. It's redundant, and there's really no moral lessons in it at all. In Little Bear, there were moral lessons. Um, there was character, there was this adventure, and but Paw Patrol, you know what Paw Patrol feels like? Paw Patrol feels like a freemium game that you play on your phone. Like, it's like a shell of an actual game. Like, it's not real. I don't play any mobile games. I don't do that. I make two exceptions. All right. So there's the Pokemon trading card game I'll play, and chess. Oh wait, three exceptions, and Magic the Gathering. That's it. I don't play any other ones because I feel like they're trying to fleece me for money, and they're soulless. They look the same, they feel the same, they play the same. They don't have the same depth as regular video games. And granted, yes, it's because they're on a mobile platform, but I still just think they're cheap and shallow, and I don't want to invest in them. And I think Disney is learning this lesson too, because they have just produced cheap, shallow garbage that nobody wants to watch. And they've adopted these DEI policies and tried to pander to people that uh, don't really care about their content. And they, in an effort, alienated the people that would bring their kids to watch their content. So now they're trying to shift things to be more appealing to young men ages 13 to 28. So this is by Variety. Leadership at Disney is pressing Hollywood creatives for motives that will bring young men ages 13 through 28, aka Gen Z, back to the brand in a meaningful way, specifically original concepts. Sources say Disney has been seeking new IP and pitches such as splashy global adventures and treasure hunts, as well as seasonal fair-like films for Halloween corridor. The calls come as Star Wars Machine struggles to produce any film project, and superhero genre sheds audience by the minutes. Yeah, this is not surprising to me that Disney is trying to make this move. It's actually a welcome change. Now, they recently came out with Elio. The thing about that movie though is that it was not appealing to young boys. Actually, it seemed like a movie they were trying to appeal to like girls. I don't really know because it just looked awful. I don't know who they were appealing to with that film, but it wasn't young boys, and I don't even think it was young girls. I don't know who they were trying to appeal to. Non-binary ferrets, maybe. I have no idea. Um, but I will write Disney scripts that will sell, that will make money, because I actually know what would be appealing to young boys. All right. Adventure. Adventure would be appealing to young boys. You have a young boy embarking on a hero's journey. Maybe he saves a girl, maybe something like that. Yeah, treasure hunts, that's cool too. Expeditions, journeys, you know, a coming of age story where he comes into himself by overcoming some force of evil. It's very simple. You don't actually have to do anything super edgy. What you have to touch on is you have to give young boys a sense of adventure, and you have to depict them positively, not like bumbling idiots, not like effeminate girls. Um, Depict them roughhousing and fighting and maybe being a little crass and a little bold and a little bit arrogant. Maybe doing those things and having their character develop along the way so that they learn and grow into mature men throughout the film. You could do this. I can give dozens of ideas for it because I understand actually what young boys want. Because guess what? I was once a young boy. And, there's a reason too anime resonates with so many young men because they actually do this right a lot. All right? They have a protagonist who is inadequate, who is um kind of coming into himself, and they have him grow and rise and become a hero and be badass. That's appealing to boys. It is, it's cool. One of the most watched shows on Crunchyroll is a show called Solo Leveling, and it's just about a guy going into dungeons and slaying demons and monsters. That's cool. That's cool. Like, that's edgy. And I'm not saying maybe maybe not for for that age group, but you could do something toned down a little bit that would be appealing to young boys. It's very easy. So Disney's Boy Trouble. Let's read this. Studio seeks original IP to win back Gen Z men amid Marvel Lucas film struggles. Oh, and by the way, with these Marvel and Lucas films, they end up shafting and weakening their male characters. I think that's why the Ant-Man movie flopped so hard. Is because they want to elevate women and reduce men. And that doesn't work. That doesn't sell. Men want to be heroes too. It's like you need to give them stories that challenge them to want to be better. Aspirational stories of men doing heroic things. One of the movies that's like most pronounced in my mind is, I think it's called 13 Lives, and it's a real story about these kids that get trapped in a cave. I believe it's in Thailand, and the rescue efforts that went into rescuing these kids was incredibly moving, man. And these were men, that were willing to take risks too, showing people taking risks in movies, showing these men taking risks and learning and growing. Like, that's a good thing that you want to show. Men aren't meant to play it safe all the time. We are meant to take risks. We are meant to do big and bold things, even if we fail. We need to have that sense of adventure. And I think if you can create a film that gives men that, I think it would do very well. All right. Leadership at Walt Disney Studios has been pressing Hollywood creatives in recent months. Multiple sources tell Variety for movies that will bring young men back to the brand in a meaningful way. What they need to do too is just talk to conservative men. Don't talk to liberal men. They're gay. They're not going to give good advice on this. They don't, because they don't even know really what men want, because they're not real men. So young men is defined here by sources ages 13 to 28. Oh, I can write so many stories. And I am, by the way. First, every film studio is looking for better ways to convert young audiences into habitual moviegoers. Numerous studies show that Gen Z men in particular are lonely, gaming-obsessed group who were hampered in their formative years by COVID-19 lockdowns. Not the easiest segment to grasp, But what's surprising producers, writers, and other partners in the larger industry is that Disney has been calling for original concepts to lure the demo back to the movies, which is not surprising because pandering to gay, non binary people hasn't been working out for them. This is the same Disney whose multi-billion-dollar content engines, Marvel and Lucasfilm, have seeded men of all ages over almost 2 decades since the company acquired them. The sources say Disney has been seeking new IP and pitches such as splashy global adventures and treasure hunts. Yeah, that's fun. Pirates of the Caribbean was great because about pirates, mainly men hunting treasure. It was awesome. It's exciting, as well as seasonal fare like films for the Halloween corridor. This calls comes as Star Wars machine struggles to produce any film project, and superhero genre sheds audience by the minute. While two insiders say that the mandate to recruit young men goes as high as the C suite, the task primarily has fallen on David Greenbaum, the former Searchlight Pictures co head brought on in 2024 to run Disney live action film business. That label has been sorely lacking in guy leaning fare like the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise for nearly 10 years. Insiders say the property is in active development, though, not in its reported iteration involving Margot Robbie, to say nothing of the lackluster attempt to reboot and hand off Indiana Jones. Well, that was just a bad movie. I mean, it was. I mean, it just was. In 2023, which earned 383 million worldwide on a 300 million budget before marketing costs. Oof. Disney source says that that movie for Gen Z are part of an overall strategy across all labels, but no more urgent than any other quadrant. Greenbaum recently hired Darius Searick, the savvy former Paramount Pictures co-chief, to assist in the effort. Greenbaum is beloved by talent, but has largely existed in prestige indie sphere, while Sarasek shepherds films like franchise Sonic the Hedgehog. Oh yeah, that one did really well. Sonic the Hedgehog was actually appealing to young men. Oh, and it's a hero's journey. Would you look at that? A Quiet Place, that was also really good. And actually, the one thing I liked about that movie is the father was very stoic, very hands-on, self-sacrificial, which I thought was good. I haven't seen Smile, so I can't really comment on that. Blah 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 blah. When the executive execution is correct, Disney's sweet spot at the movies has been millennials. The generation rapidly consumed classic vault titles like The Lion King. Yeah, that was a hero's story, a hero's journey. Simba finding himself, coming into himself, and becoming king. 101 Dalmatians. I'm trying to think. I don't think that appealed that much to boys as yeah, Lilo and Stitch. That wasn't something that was geared toward boys, more like little girls. I'm not saying boys couldn't enjoy it, but that just wasn't. Now Aladdin, that was also a movie, a hero's journey. Aladdin becoming a hero in the end and getting the girl. That was good. That appealed to young boys. Over indexed men and boys, Disney previously said, is a different story. Built in interest is not nearly a guaranteed for such an audience, which propelled Warner Brothers, a Minecraft movie, to nearly $1 billion haul. Yeah, that was a game Gen Z played as very small kids, not to mention the euphoric viral moments it created for young men filming key moments inside multiplex and sharing them on platforms like TikTok. Um, hmm. Well, I'm not going to read this whole thing because it's longer than I thought. I'll read the bottom. I never thought I'd say it. The exec muses about the Magic Kingdom's Boy Troubles despite its gem box iconic IP, but it looks like Disney's going to have to start trying. Yeah, you are going to have to start trying to pander to young boys, you know, because they are largely ignored. All right. I think I've said enough on this. We're going to talk about, we talked about the uglification of culture in our art and entertainment. But I also think it's something that's rotting the core of the soul because being connected to social media at all times and primarily consuming content on our phones and with the rise of live streaming has created a different type of soullessness that I want to talk about. So I want to share this tweet from Joker. He said, "Well, it happened. Reward extreme behavior with money and clout, and people eventually pass away." Actually, before I finish reading this, I just have to make sure my door is unlocked for. Well, actually, I'll wait until she's outside. And people will eventually pass away. Kick streamer and YouTuber Raphael Graven, popular known as Jean Pormanov, or JP, I'm just going to say JP, has died at the age of 46 during his recent Kick live stream. He allegedly endured 10 days of nights of torture, which included sleep deprivation, consumption of toxic products, and extreme physical violence. Here's a segment of his stream. This makes me just sad. People getting arrested, putting themselves in harm's way just for content and to get as many likes and views as possible. Streaming platforms like Click need to moderate dangerous content that could lead to this kind of outcome and suspend accounts who do torture streams. Sometimes it just ain't worth it.
Allez, ça va mourir.
They repeatedly did stuff like this to this guy, choked him out, abused him. I'm not going to play the whole clip because I just don't feel comfortable doing that. But yeah, all sorts of stuff, hitting him, beating him, throwing stuff on him, him consuming toxic chemical, like all sorts of horrible stuff was done to this man on camera repeatedly. For 10 days. 10 days. He endured all sorts of horrific garbage. And we have the New York Post that gives more on this. French streamer JP, frequently humiliated and mistreated on air, dies on camera during a live stream marathon. Oh man, dude. This type of thing is really heartbreaking. Believe it or not, this is not the first time I'm covering a streamer dying live on air. I want to just remind you guys real quick of this. 24-year-old Chinese mukbang influencer 300 kg dies from overeating during live stream. So I did cover this when it first happened, and I think these two are two sides of the same coin. Two people doing two different types of extremes for clicks, and the indictment isn't just on the platforms that host them. Obviously, that's wrong, and on the people themselves. Because I'm not absolving JP or this woman that died. This fat influencer who died because they chose to be involved in this type of content, so they are culpable and responsible for their own choices. Okay, so they are. I'm not gonna beat somebody that says like he didn't deserve what happened to him. Well, he invited what happened to him. Sadly, like I wish he didn't. I wish he didn't make dumb choices and do things for clout. I wish that, and the same with the fat influencer. I wish they didn't do awful things. Oh, hold on. Let me go get my wife. Give me a second. Okay. All right. We're back. Got to reframe my mind. Okay. So let's just continue reading. All right. The French streamer who was often humiliated and mistreated by a group of other men live on camera for thousands of viewers died in his sleep during a 10-day live stream marathon on Monday. Raphael Graven, known as JP, was found dead in his apartment he was renting in France. The 46-year-old's death was confirmed by Owen Senza Dodi, a fellow streamer, in a post on Instagram. I ask all of you to respect his memory and not share the video of his last breath in his sleep. My brother, my sidekick, my partner, 6 years side by side without ever letting go. I love you, my brother, and we will miss you terribly. Graven's last breath was apparently captured and since deleted 10-day marathon live stream, which wasn't uncommon for a streamer and his partner, who are best known for their gaming content. Extreme challenges often featured Graven as the butt of the joke. In the live stream, Graven lay prone on a mattress, almost completely covered by the duvet. While the other streamers started to wake up around him, they noticed he was in a really weird position and tried to get his attention before abruptly cutting the live stream. The city of Nice prosecutors launched an investigation into Graven's cause of death and ordered an autopsy, but noted nothing suspicious so far. French Minister Claire Chappe said the violence a humiliated and mistreated Graven often endured during live streams was an absolute horror. Yeah. Past live streams reshared online show the other men hitting, strangling, and shooting Graven with a paintball gun. The responsibility of online platforms regarding the dissemination of illicit content is not optional. It is the law. This type of failure can lead to the worst and has no place in France, Europe, or anywhere else, Chapez wrote on X. She referred to a situation to the French media regulator ACRAM and Pharos. Another French system is used to report online content. Kick, the platform Graven streamed on, is also urgently reviewing the circumstances surrounding his death, including its own community guidelines. That platform, which is similar to Twitch, has guidelines designed to protect the creator and insisted that it was committed to upholding these standards across the platform. Dude, shut up. This crap went on for 9 days. Kick doesn't have an excuse. What? How the hell do you not know if this guy is getting thousands of views? He's not a nobody, okay? And I can prove that too because Kick was promoting it. Let's look at this. I'm taking the opportunity to quote a few examples, but they really milked his buzz to the bone with all due respect. All right. Let's see. So, yeah, this is Kick. I need to play this slower. It's going too fast. Playback speed. Let's do 2.5. JP. Oh, that's JP. Kick is promoting. Yeah. Oh, they're promoting him again. Oh, that's him again, I think. Yep. So you can see clearly that they were aware. So they can't escape culpability in this. So I don't, I want to do say that, yeah, Kick does have a responsibility to stop this type of content, as does TikTok and as does Twitch and as does any social media platform that is promoting and condoning violence like this happening on live stream for the entertainment of strangers. Which brings me to the next problem. So obviously Kick is culpable. Obviously JP and his associates played a role in this, and I hope that they're held accountable. But you want to know who's never going to be held accountable? All the ghouls that watch this crap. Every single person that watched this man get abused online and clapped like a seal is culpable in his death. You celebrated it. You watched it. You fed it. And then you watched it die in front of you. That's on you. So I would start to really think about the type of content that you support. And it's unfathomable to me how you can sit back and watch a man being abused on screen for entertainment. What is entertaining about that? Exactly. What is entertaining about watching people go through humiliation rituals? I I, I fail to see how that is entertainment. And it's got to stop, man, because it's not just him, man. It's happening all the time. You have these crazy stupid challenges of people standing on I saw one where they're standing on like their women are standing on their stilettos or heels on their countertop. One woman ended up falling, breaking her neck and getting paralyzed. And she had something horrific happen to her. I saw one woman doing it, holding her baby in her arm, doing extremely risky behaviors. We talked about the woman that died from overeating on live stream. Her stomach burst. Like enough is enough, guys. It's got to stop, man. Like we are losing our souls. I said in stream yesterday that this reminded me of this episode of Black Mirror that I watched called Common People. It featured Rashida Jones, and the premise of the show is basically Rashida Jones' character becomes essentially like brain dead, and they are offered a service, a cloud-based service, to get her brain back online. So she has to stay connected to this cloud, and she can only go in certain ranges. And eventually, the cloud service like hijacks her brain, and she starts randomly doing ad reads. And to be able to not have to do the ad reads, well, it was an extra subscription service. You'd have to pay more to get it. So they started paying more to get it. And then they added something else and that you'd have to pay more for. So eventually her and her husband are in dire circumstances where her husband resorts to going to this website that basically had him engage in humiliation rituals for money, and he ends up doing horrible things to himself to get money to pay for this subscription service for his wife. Um, and ultimately, there were horrific consequences for it. And he ends up bad stuff happens toward the end. I'll just leave it at that. I won't spoil it completely. But it was really a commentary on this exact thing that I'm talking about today. This exact thing is what that Black Mirror episode is covering. So I highly encourage you, if you haven't watched that episode, go watch it. It's the most recent season, maybe episode 1, called Common People. The one with Rashida Jones. Okay, watch that episode because it is exactly this, and it's really disturbing. It's really disturbing that we are living out this episode of Black Mirror. And I just want us to get to a point where we can care about the human soul and care about the lives of the people that we're watching. They're not monkeys there to perform for you, all right? We're not monkeys. Streamers aren't monkeys to perform for you. We're not animals, we're human beings. And we shouldn't reward this type of content. Now, you see something like that, you see somebody getting abused, you report it. And if you are going to go in the comments, urge people to stop. And then press, companies like Kick that support this type of content to stop doing it. Because it's just not cute, man. It's not cute. It's not funny. This man lost his life. And it's a real tragedy. So I think that's going to do it for me today, guys. I do appreciate you coming to the stream. Wifey's home, and I just really enjoy spending time with my wife. More than you guys. I know. You guys are great, but my wife, she's better. So I'm going to go spend some time with her. But we will find somebody to raid. One-man raid. I'm all about it. I'm all about it. All right, let's see. Who am I going to raid out? I'm going to read out my boy. My boy. All right, let's see here. And if there are any of you lurking when I read him out, I would love you just to light up his chat. So we are going to raid in now. Confirm raid. Okay. Well, I appreciate you guys. I hope you have a blessed day. If you like the stream, like and repost it. And I will be back tomorrow with Midnight in the Mountains at 9 p.m. Have a blessed night.